Let's start with Vinaka to our Fijian brothers, the Flying
I,
Fijians.
I was
Woo!
trying to learn that that anthem they do, that Hallelujah song. I was trying to
Yeah,
learn that prior to coming on the podcast. I was going to
bruh.
belt that out as soon as you said hello, but I couldn't nail it. Mate, what
Fiji,
a performance that
Fiji,
was, man.
Fiji. How good.
Look,
22 to 15,
15.
first win in 69 years over the Wallabies. Man, going from last week's low to such a high, what a roller coaster of emotions for the Fijians.
They must be look, I predicted Australia to win. I just truly thought that at some stage Australia was gonna hit the road running.
Yep.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It wasn't because Australia played badly. I think Fiji played extremely well. Big shout out to Fiji, man. I mean, you went Fiji and you backed them. You backed them, which is great. I just think that Fiji have just got this again. I might be repeating myself a little bit. They've just been able to learn the game a little bit more with a lot more structure, should I say, over the last 2 or 3 years. From what I can see, they're playing as an all-rounded team rather than these exciting offloads every single second, which everyone loves to see. But now they've just got discipline. Um, yeah, I think when we touched on Tonga last week, the Tongans and Samoans seem to go looking for those big hits, and I feel like the Fijians used to do that. From what I could see against the Wallabies, they really have sort of reined it in a bit, and they'll wait for that big hit to
Yep.
come, and through that itself comes a lot of discipline and a lot less penalties, and they were just well drilled and deserved the win, man. And I thought they were going to go crazy at the end. They did celebrate, but I was like, good on you. Like you still got games ahead of you, but wait, what a moment, hey? And
Wow.
I was just happy that we could witness Eddie Jones post. That's all I was looking forward to. Please lose Australia because of Eddie, not because I wanted you to lose the Wallabies. It was because of Eddie. But shout out to Fiji, man. Congratulations.
It's so like you mentioned about them, like the Tongans and Samoans jumping out of the line to make those big hits. What I feel like Fiji do, and they do well, is they've still got that because they're big boys, man, big bodies,
Mm,
but they go together as a line. So it's more
yep.
structured defense instead of kind of one or two out shooting.
Yep.
And the tackles, man, that physicality in that game, there'd be some sore bodies. And you have that like kind of their talisman. He made, I think, 4 or 5 turnovers. Fiji got 11 turnovers that game. And Botia, the flank, just,
Yeah.
just anytime they
What a
run,
machine, hey.
he would just somehow steal, come out, pop out the other side with the ball. He gets
Yep.
over the ball, you're not moving him. There's an absolute. What I noticed as well is he's doing a lot of the talking when they're all huddled up. So he's
Yeah.
obviously
Okay.
a senior player. Everyone is listening when he is talking. So, man, I kind of pictured or like kind of pointed him out as being their kind of one of their obviously their leaders, but leading by example, along with Nayatalevu and Tuisova. He had a game and a half. Just
Got
so
them both
it's
down here,
so
mate.
great to watch them play. It honestly,
That was my first thing. Tuasova and Nikolaevu. I was just their physical presence in the midfield, their skill set. I mean, Tuasova, I've always looked at. He's got the world's biggest quads. He's got the world's biggest
calf,
calves. He's just,
calves.
yeah, he's just, and you saw he's just got pace to back it up. And you can imagine, like I play 12 a little bit, obviously for my size, but no, I play 12 a little bit, and you do like 12s are traditionally quite powerful and quite big. Like they run the ball. To look across and see these two guys, like Nike who breaks the line all the time,
Yes.
out of nowhere, like a little step and handoff, and he breaks the line. And those two together in the midfield, I truly believe if this team can go further than even the quarters, getting into the semis, those two players need to stay on the field, which I'm sure they will. They need to stay fit, because just those two in particular, and it's nothing against the rest of the team, those two in particular are just damaging. They just tear teams apart.
It was cool that like I mean, last week they played semi at 12 and
Mm,
ninth level at 13, and they made that switch. And it's so good, man. I'm not nothing against Semi Radradra. He's a
mm.
devastating ball runner. I just don't think he has the passing ability that Tui Silva had.
Oh,
They so many
yeah,
times, yeah, he's a winger.
yeah,
Yeah, he played on the
yeah.
wing. So many times, because obviously a bigger body, Tui Silva. But in those first 40 to 50 minutes, he was looking like he was going to crash the ball and then throwing a fucking 20-meter cutout ball. And they caught
Yeah.
the Wallabies that many times on the outside because think if you're the defender there, Mike, you're thinking they're smashing the ball up.
100%.
But
100%.
then out of nowhere, this big body has just rockets a ball flat across the face of the 13 to hit their 15 to make plenty of meters down the side. So I think they caught the Wallabies off guard there real early.
Yeah. I think even without the physical dominance, even if you're one of the better players in the team, all eyes are on you. So with Tuasova being so deadly, with running with the ball, but also having that ability to the passing game that he's got as well. Yeah, you got eyes on him because if he hits you in contact, he's going to make meters. Yeah. The thing with Semi Radradra, mate, and you go back to his league days, played on the wing, never really had to pass the ball. Yeah. Again, nothing against him, devastating ball runner. Like he's played 12 for a long time now, but you can almost guarantee with Semi Radradra gets the ball, he's not doing those cutout passes, he's not doing those 20-meter passes. So that's what Tuasova brings to that center is. That center position is that unpredictability of, is he just going to crash it up and make meters, or are we going to commit 2 players to this guy? He goes out the back and then there's an overlap and they score. So it's just mental games as well. Like it's a game to try and tackle him, but mentally as a defender, you're like, shit, what do we do? So I think it was a really good move. I feel putting us over there. I think it was
absolutely. And then you saw like later on in the second half that 9th 11 how he can get a drift pass. He just got the little jink, man, to straighten up the line. I said it last week's pod against Wales. He did it as well. His ability to straighten the line is out of this world, man. One of the best centers, one of the best to do it. I do think, while we stay on the backs, obviously Kuruvoli, the 9, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
How's that? Like when you talk
weird
about
technique.
Very. He's got a lot.
I don't know.
He does a lot before getting to the ball. And I always wonder when people ask me about like kicking, and I'm like, just try and keep your run up as simple as possible because you want to be doing it the same every time.
Every time, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you'll know exactly. But when you've got that many different steps, I'm like, fuck, man, I've forgotten half of it already. But obviously, whatever works.
Yeah, 100%. You wouldn't like it. I don't know. It's just I wouldn't say it's different to watch his technique, even when he strikes the ball. But don't try and fix something that's not broken. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I live by that. So that was again, we talk about goal kicking all the time. We're both goal kickers ourselves, but it's important to have a goal kicker that can not only kick, but kick well as well. I mean, 5 out of 5, look at the scoreline, 22-15.
And that's the one thing about adding that scoreboard pressure that we always talk about. They've done so well at being patient in attack and building phases. And sometimes you get those penalties, and if you know wherever you are on the field, because he was kicking them from 50 out, he can step up and kick them well.
There was over the black dot nearly every time as well.
Yep. So, I see he did get changed. He went off with a bit of cramp, so hopefully he's fine to go for their next game.
Yeah.
Then jumping onto the forwards quickly, one thing that I think they need to work on, and I've got some of the stats here, is because we know how important first phase attack is. So their first phase, I thought their first phase can something that obviously they'll pick it out, but needs to be a little bit better. Their scrums, so they only got 7 out of 11 scrums, so that's only 64% of their scrums. And then line outs was a little bit better, 17 out of 23. So if you can just get, and that's 74%, you want to be hitting that 80, high 80s, 90%.
Plus,
And imagine them getting an extra 3-4 opportunities from first phase to attack. What that could do to the scoreboard, because we know they've got their attack sorted, man. Even when they get tackled first phase, they've got that patience to keep going.
And you need that against those better teams as well. No disrespect to the Wallabies, when you come up against a side that's in form, you can't afford to give those opportunities away, because you're gonna have to not only execute them but then try and get points from those chances as well. But they're just big bodies. I mean, the Fijians still put on big hits, man. Some of those slow-mos, I'm thinking, far out, man. And again, it's got to play on your mind before playing these South.
100%. 100%.
But anyway, and I'm not taking anything away from Fiji, mate. They deserve the win. It wasn't a fluke. They deserve the win. And I can only imagine what the parties and how much Carver was being drunk in Fiji that night, mate.
Absolutely. How good, man.
Unreal.
I think they're testing to see if the World Cup can take Carver in it. And they'll use that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.